Have you ever felt completely drained after a lifetime of giving, pouring your time, energy, and love into others, only to wonder, who is giving back to me? In this video, we explore the hard truth that after years of sacrifice, the world rarely returns our energy and how, in our later years, it's time to reclaim what truly matters: our peace, self-respect, and well-being. Stay with us until the end to discover powerful strategies for setting healthy boundaries, embracing the wisdom of silence, and ultimately transforming your remaining years into a period of self-care and genuine fulfillment. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know so I can make a better video for you. Now, let's get started. Old age is not a period meant for chasing after the fleeting approval of others or desperately seeking external validation. It marks a pivotal stage in life where one has the opportunity, and indeed the responsibility, to reclaim the energy, peace, and self-respect that was once so freely given away in service to others. In the earlier chapters of life, many of us spent countless hours and boundless energy trying to meet the expectations of family, friends, and society. Now, as we move into the later stages of our journey, it is time to turn inward and re-establish our boundaries, ensuring that our remaining energy is invested in pursuits that nurture our inner well-being rather than deplete it. At this stage, reclaiming what was once lost or shared too readily means first understanding the critical importance of setting clear boundaries. It involves the deliberate act of saying no to obligations that are no longer aligned with our true selves or that drain our vitality. For many, this is a radical shift, stepping away from the ingrained need to be needed or to fill every role in the lives of others. Instead, we learn to honor our limits and prioritize activities that contribute to our mental and physical rejuvenation. It is about recognizing that after years of self-sacrifice, putting oneself first is not a selfish indulgence but a necessary act of self-respect and care. In embracing this new mindset, we discover that old age is a time to explore interests and passions that may have been neglected during busier years. Whether it is revisiting long-forgotten hobbies, diving into creative projects, or simply enjoying the calming embrace of nature, every moment becomes an invitation to rediscover the joys of life. Imagine spending quiet afternoons reading books that have patiently waited on the shelf or taking leisurely walks in serene settings where every step is an act of self-care. These simple pleasures are far from trivial. They are vital components of a balanced, fulfilling life that have the power to restore our inner harmony. It is also essential to acknowledge that as we grow older, our energy becomes an increasingly precious and limited resource. In our youth, we might have taken for granted the endless reserves of vitality that seemed available to us. However, with time, we learn that every moment of energy spent on people or tasks that do not reciprocate our care is a disservice to ourselves. Reclaiming our energy is not about becoming disconnected from others, but about recognizing that we can no longer afford to neglect our own needs in favor of unappreciated demands. It is an empowering realization. After a lifetime of giving, the most deserving recipient of our energy, care, and respect is ourselves. One of the most profound lessons that often accompanies this stage of life is the power of silence. In our younger years, there is often an almost compulsive need to articulate our thoughts, defend our choices, and assert our value through endless conversation. We might have engaged in spirited debates, tried repeatedly to convince others of our viewpoints, or felt an overwhelming urge to explain our actions in a bid for validation. Over time, however, we come to see that such efforts are not only exhausting but often futile. Most conversations, especially those rooted in conflict or stubbornness, do little more than drain our energy and obscure the deeper truths we seek. This understanding leads us to appreciate that silence is not an indication of weakness or passivity, but rather a demonstration of inner strength and control. When we choose to remain silent, we are not surrendering our voice. We are instead cultivating the power to observe more deeply and react more wisely. In a world where many listen merely to reply rather than to understand, silence becomes a potent tool. It allows us to step back from the noise and to appreciate the subtleties of human behavior. We begin to discern when a conversation is worth engaging in and when it is best left unaddressed, understanding that the eloquence of silence can often speak volumes more than a barrage of words. The habit of over-talking is frequently rooted in insecurity, a deep-seated need to be heard, validated, and accepted. But as we mature, we learn that constant verbal engagement is not the only path to meaningful communication. By choosing our words carefully and embracing moments of quiet reflection, we cultivate a deeper awareness of the world around us. We start noticing patterns in human behavior, recognizing the often unspoken truths that lie beneath the surface of everyday interactions. This heightened sensitivity enables us to filter out the noise and focus our energies on genuinely rewarding interactions rather than wasting precious time on fruitless debates that lead nowhere. Over the years, we also come to realize that most arguments, no matter how logical or well-intentioned, rarely lead to true resolution. People are often so deeply entrenched in their perspectives that attempts to sway them or explain their truths are met with resistance rather than understanding. The energy spent on such endeavors is energy lost, a resource that should be conserved for pursuits that truly enhance our quality of life. With this understanding, we begin to ask ourselves, what truly merits my time and energy? And the answer becomes clear: engaging in meaningless conflicts, trying to change someone's mind, or justifying our choices to those who have already decided against them is simply not worth the effort. The moment we relinquish the need to explain or defend ourselves comes with a remarkable sense of freedom. Free from the perpetual cycle of conflict and self-justification, we find that our lives become lighter, our interactions more genuine, and our inner peace more attainable. In many cases, the deliberate choice to embrace silence transforms our experience of the world. We learn that a well-timed pause can often convey more wisdom and depth than a long-winded argument ever could. Choosing silence, however, should not be misconstrued as a desire for isolation. Rather, it is an intentional act of discerning communication, an understanding that not every thought requires expression, and not every disagreement necessitates a response. It is about valuing quality over quantity in our interactions and recognizing that our true power lies not in the number of words we utter but in the clarity and thoughtfulness of the words we choose to share. By observing CAD waiting for the appropriate moment to speak, we allow life to unfold naturally, with its rhythm and logic. In doing so, we cultivate a presence of wisdom that transcends the need for constant verbal affirmation. As we continue to age, a transformative shift in perspective occurs, a shift that enables us to detach from the chaos and clamor of everyday disputes. In our earlier years, we might have felt an insistent need to intervene in every situation, to offer advice or correction whenever we perceived something amiss. Yet, with time, we learn that most people are on their oaths of growth and discovery. They do not necessarily wish to have their lives directed by external opinions or unsolicited advice. Rather, they need the space to learn from their own experiences, even if that involves making mistakes that we might have long since overcome. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. In this phase of life, every decision to invest energy in oneself becomes an act of reclamation, a way to honor the years of self-sacrifice and to re-establish a sense of balance and personal fulfillment. It is a deliberate choice to prioritize inner well-being over external demands, to savor the moments of quiet reflection, and to appreciate the simple yet profound pleasures that come from within. The journey of old age thus becomes one of self-discovery, where the wisdom gained over a lifetime is applied to nurture the self rather than to mend the unchangeable nature of others. Ultimately, embracing old age in this manner is about rediscovering the art of living, a life characterized by mindful silence, thoughtful communication, and an unwavering commitment to one's well-being. It is the realization that the most important relationship we will ever nurture is the one we have with ourselves. By reclaiming our energy, setting clear boundaries, and choosing when to speak and when to remain silent, we open the door to a life enriched with inner peace, self-respect, and a deep, abiding wisdom that only comes from years of experience. This realization has the power to completely shift one's perspective on life. Instead of rushing in to correct others or feeling compelled to offer advice at every turn, one begins to appreciate the immense value of silence and detachment. There is a profound beauty in observing from a distance, watching the world unfold without the need to intervene. This space allows for a deeper understanding of human nature to take root. When you stop forcing yourself into the narrative and simply take a step back, it becomes increasingly clear who is authentic and who is not. You begin to discern the difference between someone speaking from a place of insecurity and someone speaking from true wisdom. In this newfound detachment, one learns that people often reveal their true selves not through the words they speak but through their actions, especially when no one is around to witness them. It's the subtle, unscripted moments that offer the clearest insight into someone's character. It's in the way they carry themselves when they think no one is paying attention, how they treat those who can't offer anything in return, or the kindness they show without seeking recognition. These actions tell a story far more significant than any words could. This shift in perception enables you to better understand the people around you and the world as a whole in a way that was impossible when you were trying to control or direct everything. In old age, particularly, trying to interfere in the lives of others can lead to deep frustration. Giving advice that goes unacknowledged or ignored can sting, leaving one with a sense of disappointment. Attempting to change others, especially those set in their ways, drains precious energy and leaves behind only exhaustion. There is a quiet but undeniable truth. People will live their lives according to their own choices, irrespective of how much experience or wisdom you share with them. They must walk their paths, just as those who came before them did. No matter how well-meaning or insightful your advice may be, it can never replace the personal lessons they need to learn through their own experiences. Sometimes, the greatest kindness you can offer is simply to allow others the space to make their own decisions, even if those choices fail. Stepping back from offering constant guidance doesn't reflect a lack of love or care. It is a recognition that not everything is within one's control. It is a profound understanding that each individual is responsible for their journey. And sometimes, the most supportive thing you can do is watch and listen without trying to intervene. This kind of wisdom allows a person to remain at peace while remaining aware of the needs and challenges of those around them. It is a peaceful state of being where you can coexist with the world while protecting your inner tranquility. The ability to observe without the desire to direct and to listen without the compulsion to correct is a form of wisdom that comes with age and experience. Through this quieter, more observational approach, you begin to learn far more about others than you could ever learn through constant engagement. It is in the stillness, the silence, that the truest understanding is born. As you watch people from a distance, you start to understand their motivations, their fears, and their desires more clearly. You begin to see the complexities of their character, the reasons behind their actions, and the way they navigate the world. This observation provides clarity that no amount of speaking, advising, or attempting to influence could ever give. It is this clarity that provides a sense of peace, an unshakable calm that no amount of debate, no advice given, and no effort to control another person can ever deliver. A source of tremendous suffering in life comes from the constant search for approval. So many people spend countless years, even entire lifetimes, shaping their lives around how others perceive them. They base their decisions, their actions, and their very sense of self-worth on the expectations of those around them. They seek validation from their families, friends, colleagues, and even strangers. It is a natural part of human nature to desire acceptance, to want to be seen as valuable, important, and worthy of love. However, as time passes and life unfolds, it becomes glaringly clear that no amount of external approval will ever bring lasting fulfillment. The praise of others, though comforting at the moment, does not fill the deeper need for self-acceptance and peace. In the later years of life, this truth becomes even more undeniable. There comes a point when you can no longer ignore the question, why am I still trying to prove myself after all these years of living, learning, and growing? The need for approval from others should, by this stage, be far less powerful. Yet, many continue to chase it, fearing rejection or the feeling of insignificance. They want to be acknowledged for the sacrifices they've made, the struggles they've endured, and the lessons they've learned. But the truth is that most people are too caught up in their own lives to offer the validation that is so desperately sought. The recognition you seek may never come, and waiting for it only leads to further disappointment and frustration. Letting go of this need for external validation is one of the most liberating acts a person can undertake. It means no longer worrying about how others see you, no longer feeling the need to justify your choices, and no longer allowing the opinions of others to dictate your happiness or sense of worth. It is the realization that self-worth must come from within, not from external praise or approval. In the later years of life, the only opinion that truly matters is your own. This shift in mindset does not make one selfish or aloof, as many fear. On the contrary, it is precisely in letting go of the need for others' approval that true freedom is found. By choosing peace over unnecessary conflict, personal happiness over unrealistic expectations, and self-respect over the exhausting pursuit of external validation, one becomes liberated. There is a profound sense of relief that comes with the realization that it is simply not necessary to please everyone. Not everyone will understand you, not everyone will appreciate you, and not everyone will agree with you, and that is perfectly fine. Life at this stage should not be spent in the relentless pursuit of recognition. It should be about embracing your truth, your path, and your journey. The sooner you release the need for approval, the sooner you will be able to live authentically, free from the burden of trying to be something you are not. True peace, after all, is not found in the approval or understanding of others. It is found in the deep and quiet understanding of yourself. Once you have reached that point, there is no longer any need to explain yourself, to justify your choices, or to seek validation. You simply are, and that is enough. As we journey through life, truth becomes more and more evident as the years pass. Personal well-being is not a mere luxury or something optional to consider. It is an essential cornerstone of a fulfilling life. In our youth, many of us are driven by a sense of invincibility, believing that time and energy are infinite resources. We push ourselves to meet the demands of work, family, and social obligations, often sacrificing our own health, well-being, and inner peace along the way. It may seem practical and even noble to put the needs of others before our own, but as we transition into our later years, we soon realize that neglecting ourselves can no longer be sustained. The body and mind, having endured decades of use, require more deliberate, mindful care, not as an afterthought but as a priority in our daily routines. Without nurturing ourselves, the later chapters of our lives are at risk of becoming a decline in health and spirit rather than a time of growth, joy, and fulfillment. To truly take care of ourselves in our later years, we must make intentional choices that nourish both our physical and mental health. The body, after decades of activity, no longer operates in the same way it once did and thus demands greater attention and respect. Regular movement, a wholesome and balanced diet, adequate sleep, and restorative practices are not optional but necessary to maintain independence, vitality, and overall quality of life. Many people falsely believe that aging automatically brings about physical weakness and limitations, but this assumption is often a result of years of neglect or poor lifestyle choices. Those who continue to stay active, who pay attention to their nutritional needs, and who engage in regular physical activity often find that they can maintain their energy, strength, and well-being much longer than those who surrender to inactivity, unhealthy habits, or a sedentary lifestyle. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Alongside physical well-being, mental health plays a pivotal role in how we experience our later years. It's important to understand that the aging process should not be marked by unnecessary stress, anxiety, or toxic relationships. This phase of life offers the opportunity to choose peace, serenity, and joy by letting go of old grudges, unnecessary conflicts, and draining social connections. It is a time to actively seek experiences that uplift the soul, whether that involves reading books that inspire us, engaging in meaningful conversations, spending time in nature, or pursuing hobbies that bring personal fulfillment. Keeping the mind sharp and resilient is equally as important as caring for the body. Holding on to past regrets, bitterness, or unresolved emotional pain only depletes our mental and emotional resources, robbing us of the peace and joy we have earned through the years. Throughout our younger years, many people devote themselves to caring for others, sometimes to the detriment of their well-being. It is common for individuals to pour their energy and love into relationships, families, and careers, believing that this selflessness will be reciprocated in the future. However, as we age, this pattern needs to be reassessed. Life moves forward, and it's a stark reality that those who continually put others first without considering their own needs may find that no one steps in to care for them when they are most in need. It becomes essential to reassess where we invest our energy and focus. Relationships that drain us, obligations that no longer serve our goals or growth, and activities that induce stress should be let go. Prioritizing oneself is not selfishness. It is, in fact, a crucial aspect of living a full, meaningful, and dignified life. Caring for our physical and emotional health ensures that we not only extend our years but also enrich the remaining time with purpose, grace, and vitality. At some point, a profound realization dawns upon us. If we do not actively prioritize ourselves and our happiness, no one else will. For many, the earlier years of life are spent putting others' needs before their own, believing that this will ultimately be appreciated, that sacrifices will be returned, and that our presence will always be valued. Yet, time has a way of exposing a difficult truth. People's lives continue to evolve, and the sacrifices made by one person often go unnoticed or unacknowledged by others. The energy that was once invested in others may not always be reciprocated in equal measure. This isn't a reason to feel bitter or resentful, but it is a wake-up call, a moment of self-awareness. In the later stages of life, the greatest responsibility lies with us. we must take care of ourselves. There is no reward in continuing to sacrifice personal happiness for the benefit of others who may not even recognize our efforts. If we do not choose to care for our health, peace, and well-being, we risk finding ourselves with only regret in our later years. The final chapters of life should not be spent waiting for appreciation, validation, or companionship from people preoccupied with their own lives. Instead, it should be a time of embracing self-sufficiency, cherishing the company of our thoughts, and discovering the depth of peace and contentment that comes with being fully present with oneself. In doing so, we not only enrich our own lives but also honor the years we have left with gratitude, dignity, and fulfillment. Choosing to prioritize oneself is not an act of selfishness but rather an essential and empowering decision that acknowledges the importance of personal well-being. It involves recognizing that there is absolutely nothing wrong with making your own happiness, health, and inner peace a priority. It's a vital aspect of living a fulfilling and balanced life. Choosing yourself means having the courage to set boundaries with individuals who constantly take without giving back, who drain your energy, and leave you feeling unappreciated. It's about stepping away from relationships or situations that no longer bring value to your life, whether emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. This decision isn't about cutting off others or being harsh. It's about knowing when it's time to step back and protect your well-being. Moreover, it's about embracing the freedom to pursue what brings you joy and fulfillment without feeling the need to seek approval, validation, or permission from anyone else. Many people, especially as they grow older, find themselves feeling worn out, undervalued, or forgotten because they never learned how to put their own needs first. They spent so much of their time caring for others, meeting the needs of family or friends, or constantly trying to please others that they neglected their happiness and sense of self. This is a sad reality for many, and it often leads to feelings of frustration, regret, or emotional exhaustion. But the power to change this lies within us. The strength comes from recognizing that it is not only okay but necessary to put ourselves first to live a life that is vibrant, joyful, and full of peace. The truth is, there is great power and freedom in making the conscious decision to choose yourself. This simple yet profound act can transform your life in ways that might feel unexpected but deeply rewarding. Life, in all its complexity, doesn't slow down or pause for anyone. The world keeps moving forward, and time waits for no one. If you continue to wait for others to prioritize you or for your circumstances to change on their own, you may end up waiting indefinitely. Waiting for external validation, for others to put you first, can often feel like an endless cycle of disappointment. In reality, the only true control we have is over our actions, our mindset, and the decisions we make each day. As we age, this truth becomes even more undeniable. The truth is that happiness is not something that can be handed to you or granted by others. It is something you must actively claim for yourself. It's a choice you make every day. It's about deciding to actively seek joy, peace, and contentment, regardless of external circumstances. The sooner you accept this truth and embrace it, the sooner you can begin living the rest of your life with a sense of inner peace, freedom, and self-respect. In the later years of life, this understanding becomes more powerful than ever before. It's never too late to take control of your happiness, to piece the freedom that comes from putting yourself first, and to honor the life you've lived by giving yourself the same love and care you've given others. When you choose to prioritize yourself, you're not only allowing yourself to live fully, but you're also teaching others the importance of self-care and boundaries. This, in turn, leads to more meaningful, balanced relationships and a deeper sense of fulfillment. You deserve to live your life with the peace and contentment that comes from knowing that you have chosen what is best for you, and in doing so, you also give yourself the gift of living your remaining years with grace, dignity, and joy. As we wrap up today's video, I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned so far? What resonated most with you, and what will you bring into your own life moving forward? Please share one thing you've learned in the comments below. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. And if you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Your support means the world to me. Take care, prioritize yourself, and remember, peace, self-respect, and fulfillment are yours to reclaim. See you in the next video.